Hi, I'm Tom Scioli, author of Jack Kirby, The Epic Life of the King of Comics, and I am Stan.
I'm Matt Zeoli.
Saturday morning shows, live action,
Yes.
sci-fi shows. And it's funny, like, I don't know why I didn't check them out sooner. Like, I would always see ads for them in comics. And, like, even today, if I'm, like, reading an old comic, it's like you see, like, Jason of Star Command and stuff. So, like, Arc 2.
Dude, I've never heard of Arc 2 in my life. This is like, it's wholly new to me, dude.
See, I'd heard of it before, but I think, like, I assumed it was a Gene Roddenberry production, because I think, got my wires crossed a little, because I think there was, like, he had another show, it was called, like, I forget what the name, like, he had another show after Star Trek, like, in the 70s, a sci-fi show that didn't last nearly as long, and I thought that's what Arc 2 was. Even when it starts out with them playing, like, 3D chess.
3D chess with a monkey who could be a hair trigger on the set. He was, like, angry. I think his name's Moochie in real life.
Okay. And there were sound effects from Star Trek, so I'm like, when the credits came up, I didn't see Gene Roddenberry's name anywhere. So I think because it's like a Lou Scheimer production, they still have sound effects in their library from the Star Trek cartoon, the Star Trek animated series.
Lou Scheimer did the voice of the monkey.
Oh, he was, okay, because it is like,
it's when Harris is like, he's like, listen up, Captain, I've got something to say, and he goes,
I love that part in Police Academy 3.
I think it's 3. And Scheimer does that sound effect.
Yeah, it's so, like, just right off the bat, I was like, I'm in love with this show.
Me too. It's like a roving band of, like, youth pastors.
Right, because it's Arc 2, so it's a lot of, and it's post-apocalyptic world. They're in this amazing vehicle that I guess is like a converted missile carrier or something. I mean, come on, like, vehicle-centric 70s.
Hell yeah. Like,
TV.
I've watched the pilot. This is the first time seeing, like, episode 2. I watched the pilot, like, 3 or 4 times.
Is Glenn Larson involved at all?
I think so.
Okay.
Like, the lead, I can't remember his name. It's like Lester or something. He's a TV actor.
Well, yeah, what's his character's name is
Jonah. Monkey's name's Adam. I'm not kidding.
If you ever read Jack Kirby's Jimmy Olsen series, there's this group of, like, hippies, of, like, science hippies who drive around in this giant converted missile carrier.
Oh my god!
And I think their leader is named Jude.
Jude, okay.
And stuff, but it's got the same vibe. Like, this is all, like, whatever it is that I like about Jack Kirby, this show's giving me a dose. It's giving me a dose of that.
Those outfits are tight too.
Yeah, vertical red and white, and then those techno belts.
Oh, the techno belts are great. And, like, with the 70s too, it's like blistering heat, and the guy's got, like, a bouffant cut with a huge, like, winter beard.
Yeah, and, and it's all staying in place. Yeah, the leader's name is Jonah. Then we got Adam is the monkey.
And the vehicles, we love 70s vehicles.
Yeah, it's so, like, I was trying to get my head around it because it's, like, such a cool vehicle, and it's like, did the guy who designed the Batmobile make some kind of, like, custom job or something? Like, it's just amazing because the show, like, all these sort of Saturday morning live action shows, like, the budget is shoestring, but it's shot on film, so that boosts it up. It puts it in sort of like Bigfoot and Wild Boy territory. They had to have spent a ton of money on that vehicle.
Oh, the vehicle is incredible. And, like, after watching it so many times, I started cracking up because they had when they're in their longer vehicle, they have to do this, like, wide turn on the Y split in the road, and another car is run off the road, and I was like, we've just been run off the road by a giant dildo, a 18-wheeler dildo.
Another 70s thing was just, like, traveling the country in a Winnebago.
Yes. Yeah, it's like teaming up. Like, I love the seating arrangements inside.
The swivel seats.
Seats.
Yeah, and this is like, the Winnebago or some proto version of it was, like, very new at this time. Like, I never set foot in a Winnebago until like the 80s, until, like, years when my grandparents got one. But
I still haven't gotten one yet.
Okay, it must have been, like, fascinating. Like, in the 70s.
And I even love on those, like, the vans from, like, the 80s or 90s that have, like, the ladder on the back. Do you know that? On the back. I love it's like little access. I just want I've never seen anybody, like, scampering up that little ladder.
It seems like perfect. Like, you want to live inside of that place. And then again, like, they're so good with their special effects budget, because then it looks like they also hired that jetpack guy, the guy who would be like anytime you needed a jetpack in like a movie or a TV show, there's like a real guy who flies a real jetpack. We got to find out his name.
Yeah.
And we need to do a whole episode about him.
A jetpack episode.
He is, speaking of Fall Guy, he's probably the guy who's, when like Colt Seavers is like flying around in a jetpack and it's like a long shot and it's not him, and then it cuts in close to Lee Majors, and like Lee Majors just like acts like he just landed, he's like bouncing on a mattress or something.
I don't know if we saw then there's the iconic Walker Texas Ranger jetpack episode, and it's that exact same jetpack.
Because I think it's the same guy. It's like, we had this impression that like, okay, jetpacks are this thing and you can buy one and you can fly around in it, but it's like really there's like this one guy who like custom designed his own jetpack and is like an expert at flying it, and like anybody else who tries would just die. So it's like you just if you need like a guy in a jetpack in your show, you call that guy. He wears some kind of full face mask.
We should do an interview with the jetpack. I'm going to track him down. We can have him as a guest.
And all you need is footage of like your star putting on the mask. And then you can cut to this. I mean, it was, there's like a Michael Jackson concert where he, puts on this suit and then like flies away in a jetpack. And it was the same thing too. There's like a switcheroo. I'm sure it's the same guy.
He zooms into the show from the air, and then in mid interview he crashed through the power lines.
I get the feeling he's going to be showing up at the Recallies.
Oh my god!
Making an appearance.
Yes, the jetpack guy. He will be there. We know that.
Now, yeah, we've watched the pilot a bunch of times, and yeah, this is my first time watching episode 2 also. But it's got like another sci-fi favorite. It's got the guy who plays Dr. Smith from Lost in Space.
Oh yeah,
he's playing like Fagin from Oliver Twist. He's sort of like the leader of these orphans and stuff, and they're finding like poison gas, and it's like so awesome.
It was so cool, and like the it's great too. Like the positive ending too, where they're like it turns out to be nitrous, and he's like, hey man, we better take this nitrous back to the van, man.
Like I always hear these stories from like people who had to work in like Saturday morning TV in the 80s and how restrictive and horrible it was. I want to hear the stories from the 70s, because the 70s seems so much more like freewheeling and fun.
Absolutely.
And you're making these like fun little like low budget movies.
Yeah. And when you mean it's low budget too, it's great because like they're like, welcome to the post-apocalyptic land, the Fox backlot or whatever. Right, they're on like the hills just in the studio.
Yeah, I mean, they show up in like the Brady Bunch ghost town or whatever. Like they grab costumes from whatever's handy. Like you can tell these are costumes from like Little House on the Prairie. Or Gunsmoke, or Gunsmoke.
Laura Ingalls Wild Rose out.
And the vehicle can it's modular, so like
love
the front part can pop out, and just great vehicles all around. There's Adam the chimp with a chef's hat, cooking in the kitchen. Hello there. I hope you enjoyed what I made for you today.
I hope you like shit as much as I do. And like I was reading up on this, and they said he was being very aggressive.
Really? For real? I thought you were just kind of joking around, like Nope. How they
Gordy's
had that sort of subplot. Yeah,
he pulls Jonah's hands off or whatever.
That storyline in Nope didn't come from nowhere. It is, from a real thing. Yeah.
From Arc 2. What if you saw that coming down like the parkway?
Yeah. It's such a cool vehicle. Like so cool. It's kind of like a space shuttle mounted on top of a big truck. And then look at the end credits. Like, again, talking about Glenn Larson, like what other end credit looks like this? Those are the Knight Rider credits.
Exactly. Someone's like
it's just like riding around through the desert.
The Bonaventures or the Bonneville Salt Flats.
Okay, it says the Arc 2 designed by the Brubaker Group designed the truck 1976. It's like we can't call the guy who leads the Arc 2. We can't call him Noah because that would be like a little too on the nose. So we'll just shuffle some names around. He's Jonah, and this thing is the way, the Ark 2 is like a giant mechanical whale that he rides
For
around.
the Ark 2, he brings 2 monkeys on there, and they keep just driving everyone crazy.
Yeah, where's
He's
all
like-
the other animals?
He's like, these monkeys are going crazy. It's ravaging that Winnebago. He's like,
Ark 2, I mean,
Incredible.
I'm going to watch the whole series. What I need to do is just get, a bunch of my old comics and just like go down the list of like, okay, watch this. All these weird Saturday morning sci-fi shows.
when I was little, if I had known about that, like, not just the bigger Winnebago thing, but like the smaller vehicle, that would have been incorporated into play just as much as like the Fall Guys truck. Like,
Yeah.
I would have been all about that on top of that. Like,
Well, this is 1976, so it's like in a couple years you're gonna be getting those like 80s seasons of Super Sentai.
it's scratching that itch.
Yeah,
before-
like you just need that ship to turn into something, or to like house a giant robot
Yes.
that comes out. But it's like a hair's breadth from like this, amazing formula.
It's stuck in a tunnel. It's jamming. They're like,
Yeah, that I mean,
it's like blocking the road.
You can find
It's
like
the Ark.
you can find YouTube videos of that thing like
It's like-
getting the top broken off on some highway, where there's like low clearance. And even some of the costuming, talking about the Ark, some of the costuming is like probably from like biblical stuff, or like
The Ark's wrecking the infrastructure of like that.
yeah,
The Ark 2 is
just,
like,
all these this montage of it like destroying infrastructure all over the country. Like that's the Ark 2, ironically, is what caused the apocalypse in this show. Okay, we'll see you next time.